I'm Trista Engel, CEO of Paragon Legal, and welcome to GC Sidebar, a short and sharp conversation series with today's most forward-thinking general counsel. In just 4 questions, we cover the legal industry, leadership, careers, and a little fun. Today, I'm joined by Mark Kahn, general counsel of the Oakland Ballers, an independent league baseball team bringing professional baseball back to Oakland. Mark began his legal career in litigation before moving in-house at companies like SAP, Palm, Yahoo, Evernote, and WhatsApp. He stepped into his first general counsel role at Segment in 2018, guiding the company through its $3.2 billion acquisition by Twilio. Today, Mark is not only a GC, but he is also the self-described delivery guy for his wife's bakery, Confections. Mark, welcome, and thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks, Trista. It's great to be here.
Let's jump in. What is the one biggest change in the last 5 to 10 years that has impacted the legal department the most?
The change in the macroeconomics has affected how legal departments operate. The do more with less has now been put on steroids. And like if you look back to when I joined Segment and when I was at WhatsApp before that, coming out of the housing crash in 2010, it was just go, go, go. And it was like you couldn't hire fast enough. Nobody was looking at your budget in any meaningful way. And that just is completely flipped. And so now folks are really being tapped to continually get leaner, get smarter, do more with less, facilitate the business, demonstrate that you are a strategic organization that is facilitating growth of the company.
Yeah, that's a great point. The zero interest rate time that we lived in for so long is, fundamentally changed and really changes legal departments as well.
100%.
What accomplishment are you most proud of in your GC career?
I think the accomplishment I am most proud of is really the team. It's segment specific, but at Segment, I started off as the first lawyer. I look at the team that we built there, both the overall company team, but legal specific. By the time that we got acquired by Twilio, I think the legal and privacy team was 8 people, and they were all fantastic folks. It was one of those rare situations where you've got people that you just really enjoy hanging out with, and at the same time, you're doing high quality legal work. You're respected and liked within the organization. I was just talking about this with some of my former colleagues a couple weeks ago. One day I came back from an exec team meeting, and my team, the legal team, had turned my desk into a fort. It was just sort of like that was the environment that we had and we fostered and we enjoyed, and we still did damn good legal.
Yeah, that makes such a big difference. It makes me think of when I was in college and we taped our soccer coach to the stretching table. But when you have that kind of relationship with your coach or your boss, it really makes for an awesome working environment. What's one career moment that changed your trajectory?
Something that changed my trajectory was when I was at WhatsApp, I failed as a leader and, failed to the point where I was demoted, moved back after leading half the team, was moved back into an individual contributor role. And that was not sort of the low point. The low point actually came over the course of the next 6 months, year, as I spiraled downward after getting demoted and became increasingly disengaged with the role and with the company, and ultimately left the company. But it did set things up for me. When I talked about the team we built at Segment, none of that Segment experience, including the focus on building a high functioning, happy legal team that we built at Segment, none of that happens if I had failed as a leader, because I learned some really hard lessons, and I learned them immediately. It took a couple of years, because I spent a good bit of time early on just being grumpy and bitter that I had been demoted, and then it really took some time before I realized I actually messed things up pretty badly at WhatsApp and had really fully grokked and internalized what I needed to in order to grow as a leader and do what needed to be done when I was at Segment.
I really appreciate you sharing that because we all have setbacks in our careers and they're only really truly failures if you don't learn from them. And you clearly did, and it set you up for something great to come, which is fantastic. If you weren't an attorney, what would you be?
Pretty clear that I would be a public address announcer, which is funny. I've intimated to the CEO, the founder of the Ballers. I said, like, look, you can fire me from being the lawyer. Under no circumstances can you fire me from being the public address announcer. It's super fun. I definitely get in a little bit of a persona when I'm doing it. Like I said, it's a lot of fun to do it. You know, I'm a lawyer, so I like to talk, and this gets me a microphone and 3,000-4,000 people as a captive audience.
I love that. You were able to turn a dream into a job and find a new passion. That's super cool.
I guess I didn't even know it was a dream, though. That was the thing. I was like, it was an accidental dream, I think. I was like, I didn't know I wanted to do this, and now it's like you have to pry the microphone out of my cold dead hands.
Yeah, even better. Well, anyone who is watching and who's in the Bay Area, go see the Oakland Ballers, both for great baseball and for great announcing.
Thank you. I appreciate the free advertising.
And the bonus question, who is your favorite fictional lawyer?
I go with Lionel Hutz, the bumbling attorney from The Simpsons. And that's, more about like The Simpsons premiered when I was in college, and I've watched it on and off. I mean, I can't say that I've been watching it a lot recently, but I thought it was just, throughout my 20s especially, like that show was such an escape from other stuff. And Lionel Hutz was voiced by the late great Phil Hartman, and just such a tremendous character that I think that's a lot more fun than Perry Mason or somebody like that.
I love it. Great answer. Well, that was really fun, Mark. Thank you so much for sharing about your journey and for your thoughtful answers.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
All right, that's a wrap on today's episode of GC Sidebar. Catch more great conversations on our website at paragonlegal.com. Thanks for tuning in.